January 10th. A heavenly decree has been issued against you, hear me now. This is not a message of terror, nor a sentence of destruction. It is a summons. I speak not to crush you, but to awaken you. I speak not to accuse, but to call you back into alignment. I am the one who formed you before you knew your own name. I am the breath behind your breath, the witness of your quietest thoughts. Nothing about you is hidden from me, not even the parts you have hidden from yourself. Yes, a decree has been issued, but not as humans issue decrees. My decrees are not written to end you, they are written to turn you. You have mistaken my silence for absence. You have mistaken delay for indifference. But I have been watching, listening, waiting. January 10th marks a moment of transition, not because time controls me, but because you are ready, whether you realize it or not, to be confronted by truth. I say this gently, yet firmly, there has been silent disobedience. Not rebellion shouted from rooftops, not defiance spoken aloud, but quiet misalignment. The kind that happens slowly, when prayer becomes routine instead of relationship, when conviction is postponed until later, when you say tomorrow one too many times. You did not wake up intending to drift. You simply stopped paying attention to the small inner nudges, the subtle corrections, the whispers that said, "This way." While you continued on another path, do not misunderstand me. I have not abandoned you. Protection is not a wall I tear down in anger, it is a covering that responds to closeness. When you step away, the covering feels distant, not because I moved, but because intimacy was neglected. I have been calling you back, again and again, through moments you dismissed as coincidence, through unease you tried to silence, through opportunities you felt but did not take. Listen carefully now. This message is not about what is coming tonight in the way fear imagines. It is about what is already stirring within you. The unrest. The questions. The sense that something must change. I am not the author of dread. I am the author of light. But light exposes before it heals. An exposure can feel uncomfortable when you have grown used to dimness. I speak as a father, not as an accuser. I see the weight you have been carrying alone. I see the compromises you told yourself were necessary. I see the prayers you started but never finished. I see the promises you made to me in moments of desperation, and the way life slowly pulled you away once the pressure eased. I am not tallying your failures, I am measuring your hunger. And even now, there is hunger in you, or you would not be reading these words. Do you know why this feels urgent? Not because danger is chasing you, but because alignment is available now. There are doors near you that require attentiveness. There are conversations waiting for courage. There are habits ready to fall if you decide, fully decide, that you want truth more than comfort. I do not rush you, but I do not lie to you either. Seasons shift whether you participate or not. Wisdom is recognizing the moment and responding. You have been protected in ways you never noticed. Delays that saved you. Redirections that frustrated you. Closed doors that felt like rejection but were mercy. Yet protection is not meant to replace obedience. It is meant to walk with it. When obedience grows quiet, life begins to feel heavier, more confusing, more resistant. Not as punishment, but as feedback. A loving signal that says, "Come closer. Pay attention." I am speaking directly to you because I desire restoration, not distance. I desire clarity, not confusion. I desire your heart awake, not anxious. You do not need to perform for me. You do not need perfect words. You need honesty. You need to stop pretending that everything is fine when your spirit knows it is time for change. This is not a message to rush into panic. It is a call to stillness, to reflection, to humility. Sit with me. Ask me what you have avoided asking. Let me show you the places where fear disguised itself as wisdom, where comfort disguised itself as peace. I am not here to shame you for what you missed. I am here to show you what is still possible. Understand this. My voice is not loud to frighten you, it is clear to guide you. Suspense does not come from threat, but from revelation. Something is unfolding in you right now. A realization. A softening. A readiness. You feel it in the pause between thoughts, in the way your chest tightens and then relaxes as truth settles. That is me, drawing near, not pulling away. January 10th is a marker, a line in the sand of your awareness. Not the end of safety, but the beginning of responsibility. Awareness invites response. Response invites growth. Growth invites favor. You are not being watched for failure, you are being invited into maturity. I know you fear making the wrong move. I know you fear losing control. But you were never meant to control everything, you were meant to trust me with what you cannot. Silent disobedience often grows from fear. Fear of change, fear of loss, fear of surrender. But surrender is not loss. It is exchange. You give me your weight, and I give you clarity. You give me your resistance, and I give you direction. Do not rush past this moment. Do not scroll away as if this were just another message. Still your heart. Breathe. Let the noise settle. I am not asking for perfection tonight. I am asking for attention, for willingness, for a quiet, honest here I am. Because there is more I want to reveal to you. There are things you are ready to understand now that you were not ready for before. There are patterns about to break, not through force, but through awareness. And as you remain here, as you listen without defensiveness, as you allow my words to reach beyond your mind and into your spirit, you will begin to sense that this is not a warning meant to push you away, but an invitation meant to draw you deeper. Stay with me. Do not hurry this moment. What I am about to unfold next is connected to choices you have already made and choices you are about to face, and it requires that your heart remain open, your spirit attentive, and your mind willing to receive what you may not have expected. Because the next part of this revelation touches the root of why you have been feeling this way for so long, and it begins with the truth about why your soul has felt restless even in moments of success, why quiet unease has followed you into places where you thought peace would finally live. This is not because you are broken. It is because you are awakening. I speak now to the part of you that has learned how to function while disconnected from wonder. You learned how to survive, how to adapt, how to smile when questions lingered underneath. You learned how to be strong, how to be reasonable, how to explain away the ache with logic. Yet the ache remained. Not as punishment, not as weakness, but as a signal. A reminder that you were created for more than motion, you were created for meaning. The root of your unrest is not what you think. It is not merely fatigue. It is not merely disappointment. It is not that you chose wrongly every time. It is that you began to listen to many voices and slowly stopped discerning mine. They were not loud sins. They were subtle shifts. You replaced listening with assuming. You replaced surrender with strategy. You replaced trust with control. And control can look like wisdom until it begins to suffocate the heart. I do not condemn you for this. I understand the world you walk in. I know how loud it is, how demanding, how urgent everything feels. I know how easy it is to confuse productivity with purpose. But hear me clearly, purpose does not shout. It whispers. And when whispers are ignored long enough, the soul begins to feel heavy, even when life looks full. You wondered why certain prayers felt unanswered. You wondered why doors you expected to open remained still. You wondered why momentum slowed just as you were gaining confidence. This was not resistance meant to harm you. This was restraint meant to realign you. I slowed what could have accelerated you in the wrong direction. I paused what might have taken you far from your true self. Protection does not always look like ease. Sometimes it looks like interruption. Sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like a gentle but persistent discomfort that refuses to let you settle for less than what you were formed for. And when you chose to numb that discomfort instead of listening to it, the silence between us grew, not because I withdrew my presence, but because you stopped turning toward it. Yet even now, I am here. I have not counted you out. I have not revoked my intention over your life. Decrees in my realm are not curses, they are clarifications. This decree was issued to bring light to what has been hidden, even from your own awareness. Light does not destroy what it reveals. It gives you the power to choose differently. I want you to understand something deeply. Silent disobedience is rarely about refusing me outright. It is about postponing me. Saying, later, when things calm down. Later, when I am stronger. Later, when I am more certain. But later is a moving target. It keeps shifting just beyond reach. And in the waiting, the heart grows tired. I am not asking you to overhaul your life in a single moment. I am asking you to return to attentiveness. To listen again. To question the habits you accepted without prayer. To notice where you have been agreeing with fear while calling it realism. To recognize where you have been settling for comfort while calling it peace. You are not in danger tonight. But you are at a crossroads of awareness. One path leads back into numb familiarity. The other leads into clarity that will require courage. Clarity is not always comfortable. It dismantles illusions. It asks for honesty. But it also restores vitality. It brings alignment. It returns strength where exhaustion once lived. You have underestimated how much your quiet choices matter. Not the dramatic ones, but the daily ones. The thoughts you entertain. The voice you trust. The moments you rush past instead of sitting with me. Relationship with me was never meant to be loud or performative. It was meant to be consistent, intimate, alive. I see how you have carried guilt for not being enough. I see how you measured yourself against others who seemed more certain, more disciplined, more faithful. Release that comparison now. I did not design you to mirror another path. I designed you with a rhythm uniquely yours. Alignment is not imitation, it is resonance. When you walk in step with me, your life begins to resonate again. You are not behind. You are becoming aware. Awareness feels heavy at first because it asks you to acknowledge what you avoided. But once acknowledged, it becomes liberating. Truth does not trap you, it frees you from pretending. There are things you have been holding onto that I did not ask you to carry. Expectations that were never mine. Roles that drained you. Commitments that no longer align with who you are becoming. I am not telling you to abandon responsibility. I am inviting you to reevaluate it. Responsibility without alignment becomes burden. Responsibility with alignment becomes purpose. Listen closely now. The reason this message feels personal is because it is. I speak to you as an individual, not as a category. I know your questions. I know the sentence you replay in your mind late at night. I know the decision you keep circling without landing. I know the part of you that longs for confirmation, not applause, assurance, not attention. I am not withholding guidance from you. Guidance flows where stillness is welcomed. When the noise quiets, my direction becomes clearer. You do not need a sign in the sky. You need space in your heart. Make that space, and you will begin to recognize how often I have already been speaking. You may feel tempted to interpret this message as pressure. Let that interpretation fall away. Pressure constricts. Conviction clarifies. What you are feeling now is clarity beginning to dawn. It asks for response, yes, but not rushed response. Intentional response. Honest response. Return to the small things. The first love moments. The practices that once grounded you before they became optional. Not out of obligation, but out of desire. Desire reconnects faster than discipline ever could. And desire grows when you remember why you started seeking me in the first place, not to avoid fear, but to find life. I am restoring your sensitivity, not taking away your safety. Sensitivity allows you to discern earlier. Choose wiser, turn sooner. It keeps you from drifting too far before you notice. That is protection of the highest kind. Do not be afraid of what you are becoming aware of. Awareness is the doorway, not the destination. Beyond it lies renewal. Beyond it lies direction. Beyond it lies a depth of peace you have not known recently, not because it was withheld, but because it required honesty you were not yet ready to offer. Now you are closer than you think. Stay present. Do not rush ahead. Do not retreat into distraction. Let this moment complete its work in you. There is another layer to this revelation, one that speaks directly to the pattern that has repeated itself in your life. The cycle you could never quite explain, the reason certain lessons seem to return in different forms. That understanding is forming now, and it will require you to see not just what you did, but what you believed about yourself when you did it. Remain still. Remain open. What comes next will not accuse you, it will explain you. And once you understand that truth, everything after this point will begin to shift in ways you did not expect. because the next thing I reveal will touch the core belief that has quietly shaped your choices for years, and it begins with this question you have never fully answered: am I truly seen, or must I prove my worth to be held? This question has lived quietly beneath many of your decisions. It shaped how you showed up. It influenced what you tolerated. It whispered lies that sounded like motivation: work harder so you won't be forgotten. Stay agreeable so you won't be left. Keep moving so you won't be exposed. And without realizing it, you began to live as though love were conditional, as though presence had to be earned, as though rest were a reward instead of a right. Hear me now, clearly and without distortion: you have never been invisible to me. Not once. Not in your strongest moments, not in your most confused ones, not in the seasons where you felt overlooked or replaceable. I saw you when you felt unseen by others. I heard the prayers you did not know how to finish. I stayed near when you assumed distance. The cycle you kept encountering was not bad luck. It was a mirror. Each repetition was inviting you to confront the belief that you must strive to be worthy. And as long as that belief remained unchallenged, you kept recreating situations that reinforced it: relationships where you overgave, environments where you overperformed, expectations that slowly drained your joy. This is where alignment begins. Not with behavior, but with belief. You are not loved because you are useful. You are not protected because you are perfect. You are not called because you never fail. You are loved because I chose you. You are protected because I am faithful. You are called because purpose precedes performance. Silent disobedience often grows when you forget this truth. When you start believing that my nearness depends on your output, you stop resting in me and start striving for me. And striving creates noise. Noise drowns discernment. Discernment neglected becomes distance. Not because I step back, but because exhaustion makes it harder for you to hear. I am dismantling that belief now. You do not need to earn my attention. You already have it. You do not need to fear abandonment when you slow down. I am not impatient with your process. I am patient with your becoming. What I ask for is not perfection, but presence. Not constant achievement, but honest connection. The protection you feared was lifted was never about safety being removed, it was about illusions being stripped away. I am removing false coverings so you can step into true security. Illusions feel safe until they collapse. Truth feels unsettling at first, but it stands. This is why this moment matters. Not because something bad looms, but because something false is ending. I am inviting you to stop carrying what I never assigned you. To release the need to manage outcomes that belong to me. To let go of the pressure to be everything for everyone. That pressure has been costing you clarity. And clarity is essential for the season ahead. Yes, there is a season ahead. One that requires you to be more rooted than rushed, more discerning than busy, more honest than impressive. You cannot enter it carrying old beliefs about worth and fear. They would distort what I am building through you. I am not calling you into isolation. I am calling you into alignment. Alignment brings peace even in motion. It allows you to move without losing yourself. It allows you to say yes without resentment and no without guilt. It allows you to rest without fear. You have wondered if you missed your moment. You have wondered if others moved ahead while you stalled. Release that thought now. Timing in my hands is not competitive. What unfolds for you unfolds with precision, not delay. Nothing meant for you has passed you by. What needed to mature within you has been maturing. Look back and notice how much you have already learned. Notice how your awareness has sharpened. Notice how certain things no longer satisfy you the way they once did. That is growth, not loss. That is refinement, not rejection. I am restoring your trust, not only in me, but in the way I speak to you. You will begin to recognize my guidance with greater clarity. Not as pressure, but as peace that makes sense even when circumstances do not. You will begin to feel steadier in your decisions, less reactive, less torn between voices. You do not need to fear tonight, tomorrow, or what lies ahead. Fear was never meant to lead you. Wisdom will. And wisdom grows in stillness, in listening, in courage that comes from knowing you are held. Before you move on from this moment, do this one thing: release the belief that you must become someone else to be fully loved. You are already known. You are already invited. You are already enough to begin again, with clarity, with intention, with humility and hope. This message ends not with warning, but with assurance. I am with you. I have not left. I am still speaking. And now, you are listening. Amen.